In today's video, we're going to continue with the expressions and idioms series that I'm doing on this channel. I'm really enjoying making these videos because they're expressions that I really use in my day-to-day life, and I think that they will be very interesting for you to learn. People always ask me how can they sound more like a native and use the expressions that native speakers use. And I think that these are the ones that people use in their day-to-day lives. I haven't chosen ones that people never use. These are common ones, and you will probably hear them in conversations or in movies. Today we're going to focus on possibility and probability. So let's get started. The first one is doable. To be doable. Doable means something that is realistic, something that you can actually do. For example, if I want to spend £500 on my holiday this year, and my husband suggests going to Japan for a week, I'm going to say, that's not doable. We need a plan that's actually doable. Because it's not realistic. You can't go on holiday to Japan for £500 for a week. Or if someone says that they want to learn English and they have 1 month to become proficient in the language, I'm going to say that's not doable because it's not something realistic. The next one is in all likelihood. Likelihood is related to the word likely, which means probably. For example, if you say, I will probably go to Spain this summer, or I will likely go to Spain this summer, it means the same thing. So in this case, in all likelihood means that it will be very probable. This expression is a bit more formal, and you normally see it in newspapers or in reports at work, so it's definitely more formal. An example of this would be, in all likelihood, he is to become the next president of the United States. So it means he will probably become the president. The next one is quite easy. It is just in case. For example, I don't think it's going to rain today, but we should take the umbrella just in case. So it means that we'll take the umbrella because there is a small chance that it might rain, and it's good to be prepared for this. Another example is, I'm going to leave a bit earlier this morning just in case there is a lot of traffic. The next one is, the odds are. The odds are the probabilities of someone winning, like when you're betting on a horse race or on a football match. So if people think that England is going to win the World Cup, you can say that the odds are in their favour, which means that the probability of them winning is quite high. Or imagine you haven't done your homework. You can say the odds are that your teacher isn't going to ask for your homework tomorrow because we have an exam. It means that the probability of your teacher asking for your homework is low. The next section that we're going to talk about are predictable things. Predictable means that you knew that it was going to happen. For example, I didn't study for my exam, so I failed the exam and it was predictable. I knew that it was going to happen. The first phrase that we're going to see is, I saw it coming, or I could see that coming. That means that you knew that it was going to happen before it actually happened. For example, if you say, one of my colleagues decided to leave the company, and we could all see it coming because she would never stop talking about moving to Germany. So you can say, we all saw it coming, we could see it coming, or we could see that coming. They all mean the same thing. We use this to talk about something that happened in the past. Like in this case, she left the company in the past. But you can't use it to talk about the future. You can't say, I will see it coming. That doesn't make any sense. If you want to talk about the future, you can say, I wouldn't be surprised. For example, I wouldn't be surprised if my car stops working because I haven't used it in months. So in this case, we're talking about something that you think is going to happen, but in the future. Another example would be, I wouldn't be surprised if they cancel my flight tomorrow because it's so windy. When someone tells you something that you're not surprised about because you knew it was going to happen, you can say, it comes as no surprise to me. Like if you say, Laura told me that she was getting a divorce, and you can reply, it comes as no surprise to me. It means that you're not surprised by it because you knew it was going to happen. Or you can say, no surprise there. If they tell you that she's getting a divorce, you can say, well, no surprise there. And a not very nice way to reply to this would be, surprise, surprise. You have to use it with that tone, because it's a sarcastic tone, to say that you're not surprised about what happened, but maybe other people are. You normally use this as well when you have told someone that something was going to happen and they didn't believe you. And then when they tell you that it did happen, you're like, surprise, surprise. It's not really a nice expression to use if you're not friends with that person. But you have probably seen it in a lot of films because it's a very common expression. Now we're going to go with the expressions that show that something wasn't very likely, so it had a low probability of happening. The first one is dark horse. A dark horse is a person in a competition or a team in a competition that wasn't the favourite to win, but then won in the end or performed very well in the end. Like, for example, nobody thought that Slovakia was going to win the World Cup, but they did in the end. This is just an example because the teams that normally win are Italy, France, and all those teams. So nobody thought that Slovakia was going to win. The next one is a long shot. This is a very common expression, and it comes from football and golf and basketball, and a long shot means that you have shot it from a long way away, so the possibility of scoring is quite low. But when we use this expression in normal conversation, it means that I know that there is a small chance, but I'm going to try anyway. For example, if I have lost my cat and I send messages to people that I know, I might say, I know it's a long shot, but have you seen my cat anywhere in the town? So I know the probability is quite small, but I'm going to ask you anyway. Now we're going to go with the final section, which is about inevitable events. So events that are going to happen, and there is no way of avoiding it. The first one is bound to happen or set to happen. Bound to happen means that something is inevitably going to happen. Like, they have been such good friends for years and they make such a good couple, so they were bound to fall in love. It means it was inevitable. And set to happen is quite similar, but it means that it was programmed to happen. So it was planned, whereas bound isn't really a plan. So if you say the concert is set to be held in July, it means that it was planned to be held. Whereas bound to isn't actually planned, but you know it's going to happen. Like, if you're going to tell some bad news to someone, they're bound to get angry, but they're not set to get angry because it wasn't planned. But you're set to tell them about the bad news this afternoon because you have planned it. Another similar expression is to be on the cards. If something is on the cards, it means that it was obviously going to happen. So, for example, marriage has been on the cards since day one. So you knew that you wanted to get married from day one. I hope that you have enjoyed this video and have learned a lot from these expressions. Please let me know if you enjoyed this type of video in the comment section and which ones you didn't know before. So which ones have you learned in this video? Thank you very much, and I'll see you in another video.